This is a quick tutorial on creating an MLA Works Cited page from your PSH library. First, the Works Cited page should appear at the end of your paper with the words Works Cited centered at the top of the page. The entire page should be double spaced with no extra space after that Works Cited title. All the entries should be alphabetized, and if you'll notice here, an inconvenient truth comes after Goudy because articles like an or the prepositions don't count in the alphabetization. And each entry should have a hanging indent, which means the first line should be left justified, and after that should be indented, so that when you look at the Works Cited page, if you read down the left, you can see where each new entry begins. Additional tips are that the date is written with day, month, year. You can shorten months that are longer than 4 letters and use their abbreviations. Missing information is normally skipped, which means if you can't find something that they're asking for, you just go on to the next part of the entry. Except for in a couple of cases, no publisher on a web page, you should denote by NP, and no date by ND. Regardless of the format that you're using, the default is to also always follow your professor or your teacher's instructions. If they ask you to do something specific, then you follow what they've asked you to do. Let's look at an example. Basically, you just need to get the format and then find the pieces. So a book citation should look like this. And this is pretty easy to find. This is a screen capture from our library catalog. Last name, Hildenbrand. First name, Laura. Title of book, Unbroken, a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. The place of publication is New York. Publisher is Random House, and the year is 2010. And then the medium just means you found it in print. It's not on the web. So it would look like this. So this is a pretty straightforward citation, but oftentimes citations become pretty complicated. What if you have an editor? What if it's a book in an anthology? What if there's multiple authors? What if you're using an encyclopedia? All these things are different. So we have a quick citation guide on our website, but what we suggest is that you could use the MLA handbook to find all the specific formulas, or the Purdue OWL, which is the Purdue Online Writing Lab. And I'm going to go here and show you how to use that quickly. We have a link to it on the library webpage, or you could just Google Purdue OWL. We're going to go down here to MLA Guide. And then if you look down this menu, look for the type of item you are citing. So if I were to cite an electronic source and say it's a web page, here is the directions, and here's the format for citing an entire website. So again, we can give you some of the basic formats, but when you come across exceptions or you want to make sure and check, the OWL is a good place to go. You might also ask, well, why can't I use EasyBib or a NightCite, some kind of citation generator? And we encourage using these, but this is why we're teaching about the MLA citations, is because I think it's important to know the ins and outs of this, how the citations really work, so that you can go ahead and check EasyBib to make sure they did it correctly. So let's go back to that example. I'm going to click on book. Here's my book, Unbroken, and if I ask EasyBib to cite it, here it is, Laura Hillenbrand. Select and create citation, and they've cited it, but they have cited it from London 4th Estate, and my book was from New York Random House, so it had a different publisher. If I'd have looked a little closer, I probably could have corrected that in EasyBib, but just know that it's not always correct, and you should always go back and look at the format and be able to edit it and correct it. Here's another example. Many of our databases come with citation generators, and these are great. Here's an example, an article from Sports Illustrated about the Olympics. And if you click Cite and go to MLA, here's my works cited. What I would do if I were creating a works cited page is copy it using Control-C, go to my works cited page and try to paste it in, and it comes up like this with all that formatting from the original page. So I'm going to take that out, and just a tip, note that you can paste this way and choose to merge the formatting. Take my italics off first. Merge the formatting. And here, this is pretty close. But if you didn't check this, you wouldn't know that there's actually a lot of errors in this. First of all, the authors' names are all incorrect. They're kind of run together and should not all be capitalized. The first author's name should be written last name first, but after that, the other authors should just be written first name first. So there's one mistake they had for you. Also, Sports Illustrated is not a scholarly journal, so instead of using a journal number, I'm going to use the date. And I don't need parentheses on the year. And then also it asks for the page numbers. MLA asks for the page numbers, and they only gave you the first page. So I need to know that it's actually pages 12 to 14. So here's my correct citation, and you can see how different that was than the one that they generated for me. But still, a good place to start. And just to finish up, I'm going to show you just a couple of examples. This is an article from a scholarly journal, and here is what the format looks like. So the authors are here, the title of the article is here, the title of the journal is actually written under source. The title of the journal starts with tech trends, linking research. Then they ask, in a scholarly journal, they do ask for the volume, then a period, then in the issue, then the year in parentheses. So that is written here, or you get that information here. Here's the volume number, the issue, and you'll have to put it into this kind of format. And then they ask for a colon and then pages, and right here you know what the page numbers are. The database is what database did you search from, and here we search from Academic Search Elite. Then you write the word web to know that you got it online, and then the date that you accessed it. So it should look like this. It's basically all about just following the format that MLA provides and being able to find those things in your source. The last example, because this is often really hard, is a website. Here's the basic format for a website, and here's some kind of clips from a site called Medline, and the article is called Diabetes. So they first ask for an editor, author, or compiler name, and there isn't one that I could find in this article. So instead I'll use the title of the article next, Diabetes. The name of the site is Medline Plus. There is no version number that I could find. The sponsor is often written at the bottom of the page. It's right here, U.S. National Library of Medicine. Sometimes at the top or in the About Us is where you can find those. The date of creation, here's a date down here. Again, I'll say web, and then the date of access. So my citation would look like this. If you need more help, be sure and ask your librarians. And don't forget the Purdue University OWL for a complete listing of all the different types of MLA formats.